I wanted to take a quick moment to talk about the off season. A lot of people, when they think about the off season, they think about training. They think about the gym. They think about physical things that they think might help them ski better once they get back on the water. One of the things that a lot of people completely overlook when it comes to off-season training is off-season learning. We talk a lot about off-season training, but we don't talk a lot about off-season learning. What do I mean by that? Well, let's back up for a second. As a water skier, you probably know better than anybody else how hard it is to implement new skills on the water. We know that as skiers, we are at our best when we're not thinking. Actually, our best performances sometimes come when we're not even trying to work on anything. We're just out there simply skiing. Some of the best moments or the best opportunities we have for learning new skills, new principles, new concepts actually happen when we're off the water. Well, when do we have the most time off the water? It's usually in the off season. So why are we only focusing on the training part of it and not the learning part? And that's one of the things that the FlowPoint Method really focuses on as well. We have skiing section, fitness section, nutrition, mindset. So we have a lot of information on the platform for people in the off season when they're hungry to continue to kind of march forward towards progress on the water, but do it in a different way than they maybe have ever thought of before. And of course, we have an all new 3-month only package that's more of a budget item than the full annual package. So if you're looking for off season training and you're also interested in off season learning and learning more about concepts and kind of simplifying your conceptual approach to water skiing, then this off-season program is probably for you. Let's just give you an example. So a lot of people talk about handle control, right? We've heard this time and time again, keeping the arms in tight, keeping the arms or elbows close to your vest, especially as it relates to the transition or the edge change and the outbound swing into the buoy. People know intuitively that keeping the handle controlled or keeping your body close to the handle has value. They felt it. They felt a moment of epiphany where, wow, that felt totally different than what I normally do. And they know it has something to do with handle proximity to the body. But let's talk about what really is happening. And it has to do with your center of mass. Okay, if you don't know what center of mass means, that's a term from physics. Everybody knows, oh, they've seen this before. This is called a crescent wrench. And if I were to find the center of mass of this crescent wrench, how would I do it? Well, a lot of people have no idea where to start, right? It's kind of weird. It's got a lot of stuff here. It's got kind of a skinny handle here. Well, the simplest way to find the center of mass of something is to find its balance point. Simple, right? If I put my finger here, it's going to tip. If I put my finger over here, it's going to tip the other way. The center of mass is right above the balance point. And the balance point is the place where if you can rest this thing, balancing it like that, the center mass is right there. What does that mean? Let's thought experiment this real quick. If you're up in a space station and you want to push something, you want to accelerate it, you want to impart a force on it across the room, but you don't want it to spin, okay? You don't want it to spin, you don't want it to topple, you don't want it to tip over, you want it to stay in this orientation. You'll have to push on it right on that center mass, because if you push above it, it's going to spin this way. If you push below it, it's going to spin this way. But if you push right on that center mass and you're in space, this thing will move along a straight line, but it won't spin, it won't rotate, it'll stay in that same orientation. That is why center mass and finding and understanding what center mass is, and intuitive understanding, like finding it here with an object. You can do this at home. You can find any object, you can try to find its balance point, and as soon as you find its balance point, you know that that's where the center mass of that object is. Why does this matter? Understanding where your center mass is in your body, just even simply speaking, that it's somewhere just below your belly button, understanding that that's where your center mass is conceptually, and then being able to tuck that away in your understanding will then start to make sense as to why you want control of the handle. So that when the handle's higher on your body, that makes sense. It has more leverage against your center mass. Whereas if you can bring the handle lower and keep control of it closer to your body, but also lower, it has less leverage. The boat has less leverage to pull you up before you come into the buoy. Stuff that's super simple. It's not above you. We're trying to deconstruct and demystify water skiing and basically boil it down to its most simplest terms. That's what off-season learning is about. That's what the FlowPoint Method is about. We have an all-new 3-month package that starts today. It's a budget item. It's not the full annual membership. You still get give-go coaching every month. You still get Zoom calls, direct one-on-one contact with Jenny and myself. You still get a lot of the perks. You get the discounts, but you don't have to pay for the whole year, and you get to work through the daily and weekly workouts. You have access to all the fix yourself protocols that we have on the platform. You have access to everything, as well as off-season learning. As far as I'm concerned, the off-season learning is just as valuable as off-season training as it relates to you becoming a better version of yourself on the water in 2023.